Most people are not defeated by the impossible. They are defeated by the moment their mind decides, this is too much for me. That single thought can stop a life before the real battle even begins. But your limits are not fixed walls. Many of them are trained beliefs. Change the mind that accepts the limit, and suddenly the limit begins to move. Today, you are not learning how to dream bigger. You are learning how to become stronger than the voice that tells you to stop. 1. The first limit is the one your mind accepts. The most dangerous limits are not the ones standing in front of you. They are the ones your mind accepts before you even try. The moment you decide something is too hard, too risky, or beyond your ability, you begin defeating yourself. Bruce Lee understood that growth starts when you question the voice saying, I can't. Fear is not proof. Doubt is not a command. Test your limits, challenge your assumptions, and keep moving until your mind learns that the wall was never as strong as it looked. 2. Go past the moment your weak mind says stop. There is a moment in every difficult effort when your mind begins negotiating with you. It tells you that you have done enough, that tomorrow would be better, that stopping now will not matter. This is the exact moment where most people lose the battle, not because their body has reached its true limit, but because their mind has become uncomfortable. Bruce Lee understood that strength is built by learning to remain present when discomfort begins. You do not have to destroy yourself or ignore real pain, but you must learn the difference between danger and resistance. Resistance says, this is hard, leave. Discipline answers, hard does not mean impossible. Every time you continue when quitting would be easier, you teach your mind a new rule. You show it that tiredness does not control your decisions, fear does not choose your direction, and temporary discomfort cannot cancel a meaningful goal. One more focused minute, one more repetition, one more attempt, one more disciplined choice may look small, but these moments reshape your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who gives up when pressure arrives. The strongest mind is not the one that never feels weak. It is the one that refuses to let weakness make the final decision. When your mind says stop, examine the reason. If you are simply uncomfortable, go a little farther. That extra distance is where confidence is earned. Eventually, what once made you quit becomes something you can calmly move through. Your limits do not disappear because life becomes easier. They disappear because you become harder to stop. 3. A divided mind can never become unstoppable. A weak mind is not always a lazy mind. Sometimes it is simply a mind that is trying to move in too many directions at once. You want success, but you also want comfort. You want discipline, but you keep feeding distraction. You want confidence, but you spend hours comparing yourself with people who are living a completely different life. You want progress, but your attention is being pulled by notifications, opinions, entertainment, fear, doubt, and endless thinking. When your energy is divided between too many things, even a powerful person begins to feel powerless. This is why focus matters more than motivation. Motivation can make you feel ready for a few hours, but focus decides where your energy actually goes. Bruce Lee believed deeply in simplicity, directness, and removing what was unnecessary. That same principle can be applied to your mind. If your goal matters, then everything that constantly steals your attention has a price. Every useless argument takes something from you. Every hour of meaningless scrolling takes something from you. Every time you obsess over what people think, you are giving away mental energy that could have been used to build your future. Most people think they need more energy, more confidence, or more time. Sometimes what they really need is fewer distractions. Your power may already be there, but it is leaking in 10 different directions. Imagine trying to cut through something with a blade that has been broken into many pieces. Each piece may still be sharp, but together they cannot strike with the same force. Your attention works the same way. When it is scattered, your effort becomes weak. When it is concentrated, even a smaller amount of effort can produce extraordinary results. You cannot become unstoppable while constantly changing your direction. One day you want one life, the next day you want another. One week you are committed, the next week you are chasing something new because progress did not come fast enough. This creates a dangerous habit. Your mind learns to seek excitement instead of mastery. The beginning always feels exciting because the possibility is fresh. The middle is where repetition begins. Progress becomes quieter, and nobody is praising you. That is where focus is tested. You must learn to stay with something long enough for your effort to become powerful. A person who changes direction every few days may work very hard and still go nowhere. A person who chooses one meaningful direction and continues steadily can travel much farther with less wasted energy. Movement is not the same as progress. Being busy is not the same as becoming better. Ask yourself honestly, is everything you are doing taking you toward the person you want to become? Or are some things simply helping you avoid the work that matters? A divided mind also appears when your actions and your desires are fighting each other. You say you want discipline, but every night you choose habits that make tomorrow harder. You say you want peace, but you keep returning to people and situations that destroy it. You say you want confidence, but you repeatedly speak to yourself like an enemy. You say you want a better future, but you protect every habit belonging to your old life. This inner conflict drains enormous energy because part of you is moving forward, while another part is pulling backward. Real mental power begins when your decisions start agreeing with your goals. If you want focus, protect your attention. If you want strength, stop feeding habits that weaken you. If you want peace, stop volunteering for unnecessary chaos. If you want mastery, accept repetition. Your life becomes much simpler when you stop negotiating with every temptation that appears. This does not mean you must become obsessed or remove everything enjoyable from your life. It means you understand the difference between rest and escape. Rest restores your power. Escape delays the thing you know you must face. Rest helps you return stronger. Escape keeps you trapped in the same place while giving you temporary relief. Learn that difference, because many people call something rest when they are actually hiding from discomfort. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you possess because whatever receives your attention begins shaping your mind. If you spend your days consuming fear, outrage, comparison, and meaningless noise, your thoughts will eventually begin reflecting those things. If you repeatedly place your attention on learning, practice, discipline, and meaningful work, your mind begins changing in another direction. You become what you repeatedly give mental space to. That is why you must become protective of your focus. Not everyone deserves immediate access to you. Not every opinion deserves a response. Not every problem deserves your energy. Not every opportunity deserves a yes. Sometimes becoming stronger requires learning to say, "This does not belong in my mind." The world will constantly offer you new reasons to become distracted. There will always be another video, another argument, another trend, another person asking for your attention. If you respond to everything, you will eventually have nothing left for yourself. Mental discipline means choosing what enters your inner world instead of allowing the world to choose for you. Think about sunlight. Spread across an entire room, it gives warmth and light. Concentrated through a lens, it can create enough heat to burn. The sunlight did not become stronger, it became focused. Your mind works in a similar way. You may already have enough intelligence, creativity, and determination to transform your life, but those qualities cannot create their full power while scattered across dozens of meaningless distractions. Choose what deserves your best energy, then give it your best energy. When you work, work fully. When you train, train fully. When you learn, learn fully. When you rest, rest without guilt. Stop living halfway inside everything. Half attention creates half results, and half commitment produces a life full of unfinished potential. You do not need to chase everything that looks valuable. Sometimes power comes from elimination. Remove what weakens your direction. Remove unnecessary noise. Remove commitments you accepted only because you were afraid to disappoint someone. Remove habits that consume hours, but leave nothing meaningful behind. Remove the constant need to know what everyone else is doing. The clearer your direction becomes, the stronger your mind becomes, and something surprising happens when you stop dividing yourself. Tasks that once felt overwhelming begin feeling possible because you are finally bringing your full strength to them. Your confidence grows because you begin finishing what you start. Your discipline becomes easier because fewer temptations are constantly competing for control. You begin experiencing the force of a mind moving in one direction. This is how impossible goals become smaller. Not because the challenge suddenly changes, but because your power is no longer being wasted. Do not ask yourself how you can become unstoppable while continuing to give your attention to everything. Ask what must be removed so your strongest energy can finally move toward one purpose. A divided mind hesitates, leaks energy, and constantly starts again. A focused mind builds momentum. And once momentum joins discipline, you become far more difficult to stop than you ever imagined. 4. Turn every failure into a new attack. Failure becomes dangerous only when you allow it to tell you who you are. One bad result can quickly become a sentence in your mind. Maybe I am not capable. Maybe I am not talented enough. Maybe this goal was never meant for me. That is how one event becomes an identity. But failure is not an identity. It is information. It shows you where your preparation was weak, where your timing was wrong, where your strategy failed, or where your skill has not yet reached the level your ambition requires. A strong mind does not waste that information by turning it into shame. It studies it, learns from it, and comes back with a better attack. This is where many people misunderstand persistence. Persistence does not mean repeating the same mistake forever and hoping life eventually rewards your stubbornness. If you hit the same wall in the same place with the same method, you may simply become exhausted. Real persistence has intelligence inside it. You keep the purpose, but you are willing to change the method. You remain loyal to the destination without becoming emotionally attached to one road. Bruce Lee's philosophy was built around adaptability. What works in one situation may fail in another, so the mind must remain awake enough to change. The same principle matters in your own life. If one method fails, do not immediately bury the dream. Ask why the method failed. Perhaps you need more skill. Perhaps you started too fast. Perhaps you trusted the wrong people. Perhaps your plan was built on excitement instead of discipline. Perhaps you underestimated how long mastery actually takes. Whatever the reason, find it. A painful result becomes useful the moment it teaches you something you can use in the next attempt. Most people experience failure emotionally before they experience it intelligently. They feel embarrassed, disappointed, angry, or ashamed, and those emotions become so loud that they stop examining what actually happened. They say, "I failed," when the more useful sentence would be, "This approach failed." Those sentences may sound similar, but they create completely different futures. "I failed" attacks your identity. "This approach failed" gives you something you can improve. Never confuse yourself with your last performance. You are not the test you failed. You are not the opportunity you lost. You are not the business that did not work. You are not the rejection you received. You are not the day when your courage disappeared. These are moments in your life, not definitions of your potential. If you make permanent conclusions from temporary defeats, you will create limits that reality never created for you. The strongest people learn to separate pain from direction. Failure can hurt without deciding where you go next. Disappointment can be real without becoming surrender. You can feel the full weight of losing and still wake up with another plan. That is mental strength. When something fails, your first responsibility is not to protect your ego, it is to discover the truth. Ask yourself what you did poorly. Ask what you avoided. Ask whether you prepared enough. Ask whether your expectations were realistic. Ask where emotion overruled discipline. Do not search only for external excuses, because excuses may protect your pride while keeping you weak. If another person caused part of the problem, recognize it, but still ask what remains under your control. Your power begins wherever your responsibility begins. Failure can expose weaknesses success would have hidden. Winning can sometimes make you believe your method is perfect. Failure forces you to look closer. It reveals impatience. It reveals weak preparation. It reveals emotional reactions you did not know were controlling you. It reveals where your confidence depended more on hope than competence. This is why failure, although painful, can become one of the most useful teachers in your life, but only if you stay in the classroom. Many people leave too early. They fail once and change goals. They are rejected once and decide they are unwanted. They try something for a few weeks and decide they lack talent. They experience embarrassment and spend years avoiding anything that could make them feel that way again. Eventually their life becomes smaller, not because they lacked ability, but because they organized their decisions around avoiding another failure. A powerful mind chooses a different relationship with failure. Instead of asking, "How can I make sure I never fail again?" ask, "How can I become so skilled at learning from failure that it can no longer stop me?" Now the entire game changes. You become willing to attempt difficult things because failure no longer represents the end. It represents feedback. You begin moving faster because you spend less time protecting your image. You become more experimental because you understand that every attempt gives you data. You begin learning lessons that spectators will never learn, because spectators criticize mistakes while avoiding the arena where mistakes happen. There is also another trap you must avoid: emotional overreaction. A setback happens, and immediately you want to change everything. You abandon the plan, create a completely different goal, attack yourself, blame everyone around you, and make decisions from frustration. This is rarely useful. When failure hits, become calm before becoming active. Study what happened with a clear mind. Not every defeat requires a completely new life. Sometimes one small adjustment changes everything. A fighter does not abandon the entire fight because one attack misses. He changes distance. He changes timing. He studies the opponent. He notices the opening. Then he attacks again with more intelligence. Approach your challenges the same way. If your first attempt fails, return with more knowledge. If the second fails, return with better preparation. If the third fails, return with a different strategy. Each attempt should carry something the previous attempt did not. Otherwise, you are not learning. You are only repeating. This is how failure becomes momentum instead of damage. You must also stop demanding immediate evidence that your effort is working. Some of the most important growth happens before results become visible. You may be becoming more disciplined before anyone notices. Your skill may be improving while your results still look ordinary. You may be learning lessons that will only become valuable months later. If you require instant proof, you will abandon many things just before they begin becoming powerful. Mastery often looks boring before it looks impressive. It contains repetition nobody celebrates, corrections nobody sees, attempts nobody remembers, private failures that never become part of the final story. When people eventually see the result, they call it talent, confidence, or success. They rarely see how many versions of you had to fail before the capable version was built. This is why you cannot be afraid of looking imperfect while learning. If you need to look successful at every stage, you will avoid the beginner stage of anything meaningful. Your ego will protect your appearance while destroying your potential. Give yourself permission to be clumsy while developing skill. Give yourself permission to learn slowly. Give yourself permission to make mistakes without turning every mistake into a crisis. The goal is not to become someone who never falls. The goal is to become someone who learns something every time they fall. Imagine two people experiencing the exact same defeat. The first person asks, "Why does this always happen to me?" The second asks, "What did this reveal?" One creates helplessness. The other creates intelligence. One looks for evidence that life is against them. The other looks for information that can make the next attempt stronger. The event may be identical. The mind changes the outcome. You should become almost dangerous in the way you use setbacks. Every rejection should sharpen something. Every mistake should improve your judgment. Every loss should expose a weakness you can strengthen. Every disappointment should teach you where expectation replaced preparation. Let failure take something from your ego, but never let it take your willingness to continue. There will be moments when you genuinely need to change direction. Mental toughness does not mean blindly chasing something forever. Wisdom matters. Sometimes the goal itself changes because you grow. Sometimes new information reveals that another direction makes more sense. But make that decision from clarity, not from the temporary pain of losing. Never quit simply because your pride has been wounded. Wait until the emotion settles, then decide. There is enormous freedom in becoming comfortable with imperfect attempts. You stop needing every move to succeed. You become willing to test ideas, learn, adapt, and improve. Suddenly, the impossible becomes less frightening because you no longer believe you must conquer it in one perfect move. You can approach it step by step, lesson by lesson, failure by failure. That is how difficult things are actually achieved, rarely through one heroic moment, usually through hundreds of corrections. The first attempt teaches you where you are weak. The second teaches you what you misunderstood. The third teaches you patience. The fourth reveals a better method. Eventually, the thing that once defeated you becomes familiar territory, and familiarity changes fear. What once looked impossible begins looking like a problem with parts. Problems with parts can be studied. What can be studied can be practiced. What can be practiced can be improved. And what can be improved may eventually be mastered. So the next time something fails, do not immediately ask whether you should stop. Ask what the failure just taught you. Find the weakness, correct it, change the angle, strengthen the skill, return with more awareness than you had before. Do not attack the same obstacle as the same person. Let every defeat rebuild you before the next attempt. Then attack again, smarter, calmer, more prepared. Because failure should never be the place where your ambition dies. It should be the place where your next strategy is born. 5. Become the person for whom impossible is too small. There comes a point in your growth when the goal should no longer be simply to achieve something difficult. The deeper goal is to become the kind of person who can face difficult things without immediately becoming intimidated by them. Most people spend their lives asking whether a dream is possible. A stronger question is, What kind of person would I need to become for this dream to stop looking impossible? That question moves your attention away from the size of the obstacle and places it on the size of your development. The mountain may remain exactly where it is, but the climber can become stronger. This is one of the greatest shifts a person can make. Instead of spending your life trying to convince the world to become easier, you begin developing yourself until difficult situations no longer have the same power over you. You strengthen your discipline so you can work when motivation disappears. You strengthen your focus so distractions cannot steal entire years from your life. You strengthen your emotional control so one criticism, rejection, or bad day cannot destroy your direction. You strengthen your patience so you can continue long after excitement has faded. When these qualities grow together, goals that once looked enormous begin to lose their power to frighten you. Many people want extraordinary results while protecting an ordinary version of themselves. They want success without changing their habits. They want confidence without entering uncomfortable situations. They want discipline without giving up distractions. They want mastery without repeating the basics thousands of times. They want a different future while keeping every behavior that created their present. This is where transformation stops. You cannot carry a new life with the same mind that keeps rebuilding the old one. If the goal is bigger than you are today, do not become discouraged. That may be exactly why the goal matters. A meaningful goal should demand something from you. It should expose weaknesses you need to strengthen. It should reveal where you lack patience, courage, knowledge, discipline, or control. The purpose of a powerful goal is not only to give you something when you reach it. The struggle toward it should construct someone stronger along the way. Imagine two people standing before the same difficult opportunity. One sees evidence that they are not ready and retreats. The other sees a training ground. The challenge is identical, but the meaning is completely different. One person asks the challenge to become smaller. The other begins becoming larger. This is why mindset is not simply positive thinking. It is the ability to interpret difficulty in a way that creates action instead of paralysis. Bruce Lee's philosophy repeatedly pointed toward personal development rather than rigid limitation. Do not become trapped by a fixed definition of yourself. The person you are today is not the final measurement of what you can become. Your current strength is not your maximum strength. Your current confidence is not your permanent confidence. Your current knowledge is not the edge of your intelligence. You are unfinished, and that should excite you. The problem begins when people take temporary weakness and turn it into permanent identity. They say, "I am not disciplined," instead of saying, "I have not trained discipline yet." They say, "I am bad under pressure," instead of asking how pressure can be practiced. They say, "I cannot focus," while spending years strengthening distraction. They say, "I am not confident," while avoiding every situation that could build confidence. Be careful with the words you repeatedly attach to yourself. Your identity influences what you attempt, and what you attempt determines what you have the opportunity to become. Do not build your identity around what is currently difficult. Build it around what you are willing to train. If you are weak, strength can be trained. If you are distracted, focus can be trained. If you hesitate, decisiveness can be practiced. If you give up too quickly, persistence can be strengthened. You may not control your starting point, but you have enormous influence over what you repeatedly practice from this point forward. This is why you must stop waiting to become a different person before behaving differently. Behavior comes first more often than people realize. You do not wait until you feel disciplined and then begin acting disciplined. You make disciplined choices, and gradually your mind begins accepting discipline as part of who you are. You do not wait until fear disappears before becoming courageous. You move while fear is present, and through repeated movement your relationship with fear changes. Identity is built through evidence, and every action gives your mind another piece of evidence about the person you are becoming. If you wake up and do what you promised yourself, that is evidence. If you continue when nobody applauds you, that is evidence. If you return after failure, that is evidence. If you choose focus when distraction is easier, that is evidence. If you remain calm when someone tries to provoke you, that is evidence. One action may seem insignificant, but repeated actions create a pattern, and repeated patterns eventually become identity. Then something powerful happens. Discipline stops feeling like something you are forcing yourself to do, and begins feeling like part of your character. Persistence stops being a temporary strategy, and becomes your natural response to resistance. Difficult work no longer creates the same internal argument. Because your mind already knows what kind of person you have decided to be. This is the person for whom impossible begins becoming too small. Not because every goal becomes easy. Not because this person never fails. Not because life suddenly stops creating problems. It happens because the word impossible no longer ends the conversation. For an untrained mind, impossible means stop. For a trained mind, impossible often means investigate. What makes this difficult? What skill is missing? What knowledge do I need? What weakness is being exposed? Who has solved something similar? What can be practiced? What can be simplified? Where can I adapt? The trained mind turns intimidation into questions, and questions create paths where fear originally saw only walls. That is a completely different way to live. When others see a closed door, you start examining the hinges. When one method fails, you search for another. When you lack a skill, you begin learning it. When the challenge takes longer than expected, you adjust your expectations instead of abandoning your direction. You stop treating difficulty like a personal insult and start treating it like material to work with. But there is another level to this lesson. You must become comfortable being underestimated. If you are attempting something larger than your current evidence supports, some people will not understand it. They will judge your future using your past. They will look at who you have been and decide what you are allowed to become. Do not become angry at them. Their imagination is not your responsibility. You do not need everyone to see what you see. In fact, needing constant belief from other people can become another limit. If you can only move when people encourage you, then their silence can stop you. If praise gives you energy, criticism can take it away. If approval determines your confidence, you have placed the steering wheel of your life in someone else's hands. Learn to work without witnesses. Learn to improve without announcements. Learn to build strength quietly. Let results eventually explain what words could not. The strongest form of belief is not loudly telling everyone what you will accomplish. It is returning to the work again tomorrow, and the day after that, and again when progress is slow. Anyone can feel unstoppable for an afternoon. Transformation requires consistency long after the emotion has disappeared. You will have days when the person you want to become feels very far away. You will fall into old habits. You will waste time. You will doubt yourself. You will make decisions beneath your standard. Do not use those moments as proof that transformation has failed. Correct yourself quickly. A bad hour does not require a bad day. A bad day does not require a bad month. Mental strength includes the ability to interrupt your own decline before it becomes your direction. Never demand perfection from yourself. Demand return. Return to the discipline. Return to the goal. Return to the standard. Return to the person you are building. That ability to return is more powerful than pretending you will never fall. There is also a danger in reaching a goal and becoming satisfied with the version of yourself that achieved it. Growth does not end at achievement. The moment you begin thinking, "I have arrived," your development begins slowing. There should always be another layer of yourself to refine. Not because you are never enough, but because your potential should remain alive. Mastery is not a finish line where you finally become complete. It is a relationship with improvement. You learn, you practice, you remove what is unnecessary, you sharpen what matters, you discover another weakness, you strengthen it. Then life reveals another level. This is why the strongest people often remain students. They understand that arrogance makes learning difficult. The moment you believe you already know enough, reality begins finding ways to expose what you missed. Remain teachable, remain adaptable, remain hungry for improvement without becoming desperate for approval. There is a difference between ambition and insecurity. Ambition says, "There is more within me, and I want to develop it." Insecurity says, "I must achieve more so I can finally prove I am worthy." One builds you, the other can consume you. Do not chase impossible things because you hate yourself as you are. Chase growth because you respect what you could become. Your worth does not need to wait at the finish line, but your potential does require effort. That balance gives you enormous power. You can respect yourself today while demanding more from yourself tomorrow. You can be grateful for your progress without becoming comfortable. You can recognize your weaknesses without becoming ashamed of them. You can want a bigger life without despising the life you have now. This is mature ambition. And mature ambition is difficult to stop because it does not depend on desperation. As your mind grows stronger, you also begin recognizing that many limits were never physical. They were permissions you were waiting for. You were waiting for someone to tell you that you were ready. Waiting for confidence. Waiting for the perfect opportunity. Waiting for fear to disappear. waiting for circumstances to become clear. Years can disappear inside waiting. At some point, you must give yourself permission to begin badly. Begin uncertain. Begin without complete confidence. Begin before every detail is solved. A person moving imperfectly often learns more than a person planning perfectly. Action reveals reality. Reality gives feedback. Feedback allows adjustment. Adjustment creates progress. But none of that happens while you remain frozen at the starting line trying to guarantee success. You cannot think your way into every answer. Some answers only appear after movement, so move. If the first step is small, take it seriously. If the first result is unimpressive, study it. If nobody notices, continue anyway. You are building internal machinery before external results become visible. And when those internal qualities become strong enough, the outside world eventually begins reflecting them. People may call the result extraordinary because they did not see the training that made it ordinary for you. That is the final secret. The goal is not to perform one impossible act. The goal is to train until what once looked impossible becomes normal at your new level. A beginner sees 10 miles and thinks it cannot be done. A trained runner understands how to cover the distance. A beginner watches a master perform and sees magic. The master remembers thousands of repetitions. The impossible often looks impossible only from the level below it. Raise your level, then look again. The obstacle may appear different. This is why you must stop measuring the future using only your present abilities. Of course, some dreams look impossible to the person you are today. They were never meant to be completed by the person you are today. They are asking you to develop. Let them. Let the challenge force you to focus. Let it force you to become disciplined. Let it expose your excuses. Let it teach you patience. Let it make you more adaptable. Let it destroy the habit of quitting whenever progress becomes uncomfortable. Then one day you will look back at the person who once doubted whether any of this was possible, and you will barely recognize that version of yourself. Not because the world handed you extraordinary power, because you trained ordinary abilities until they became extraordinary. That is how limits move. That is how confidence becomes real. That is how difficult goals lose their ability to intimidate you. Do not spend your life asking whether something is possible for the person you are now. Ask what you must learn. Ask what you must remove. Ask what you must practice. Ask what weakness must be strengthened. Then begin becoming that person. Because when your discipline becomes stronger than your excuses, when your focus becomes stronger than distraction, when your patience becomes stronger than frustration, and when your purpose becomes stronger than temporary fear, the word impossible begins losing its authority over you. Do not merely chase the impossible. Become so capable that yesterday's impossible becomes tomorrow's warm-up. The impossible does not disappear because life becomes easier. It disappears because you become harder to stop. Every time you challenge a limit, continue through resistance, protect your focus, learn from failure, and rebuild yourself stronger, you teach your mind a new truth. You are capable of more than fear ever allowed you to believe. So do not wait for confidence. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Train the mind that will carry you through them. Because once your mind refuses to accept the limit has already begun to lose.